Good morning. Good morning. Apologies for these late videos from my World History B kiddos. Mr. Salceda here. I would have live lessons Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 to 1:30. You can book appointments with me as well. They're my office hours, Monday to Thursday from 2:30 to 4 p.m. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm a little behind. Apologies on that, but I will catch up. Unit 6, the early wars. We'll start off with the French wars of religion and move on to Europe and the Ottoman Empire, absolutism, the English Civil War, the scientific revolution, and the age of reason. I hope to get done today, maybe get through the English Civil War, at least 4 videos with Nearpod. So look forward to those. Here I go. We're entering the wars of, or French wars of religion, saying that backwards. If you want to know content-specific items, interpret and analyze multiple historical viewpoints, analyze information by sequencing. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Correct terminology, science terminology, social terminology, etc., etc. This is all what is required to teach you by the state of Texas. Let's move on with that. So we have a lot to do, not a lot of time to do it in. So the French Wars of Religion. As a quick review, and I can do this here. If we're looking at this time period, we are around 1600. If I can give you a recap of what has happened, right? 0, Christ is killed, we get Christianity. Around the year 1100 up through about 1300, we get the Crusades, right? When Christians are fighting Muslims for the Holy Land. From about 1400 or 1300 to about 1500, we get the Renaissance. Right? As the Crusades are taking place and they're going from Europe towards the Holy Land, right? Jerusalem. They're passing through Italy and through Greece. They're finding stuff they used to write about, the Romans and the Greeks. They're also finding things that the Ottomans wrote about, and they're bringing all these items back to Europe, which starts this rebirth of the arts, right? Between 1500 and 1600, basically where we're at in this current timeline, we also have the age of exploration, where Europeans are now exploring the Americas, right? Spain lands or starts conquering the Americas in the 1500s. We got Columbus, etc., etc. Running out of time, we move on ahead. Terms for us today: the Edict of Nantes, proclamation by Henry the Fourth in 1598, providing Huguenots establish their own churches and enjoy civil rights. These Huguenots are French Calvinists. Talk about Calvin in a bit. The Jesuits are militant Roman Catholic priest. A magistrate is a government official. And again, what is a militant? Is showing a bent towards warfare or aggression. You like war, you're a militant, essentially, right? Is what they're saying here. Let's go ahead and move on. Oh, let me refresh this. There should be something here for you guys. Apologies. Quick refresh as we move on through these French religion, French wars, French wars of religion. Sorry. So here we go. This is what's supposed to be here. People you need to know. Let's click and see. Henry III, King of France, who tried to conquer the Huguenots. Louis XIV, the Sun King, built the Palace of Versailles. All right, so John Calvin, during the late Middle Ages, sorry, I'm getting my head. During the late Middle Ages, attendance at the Roman local church were too good for Christians. In 1517, Martin Luther will proclaim his 95 Thesis. There's problems with the church. Because of Martin Luther, other people will start to break away from the Holy Roman Empire, right? Here are the origins of John Calvin and his Calvinism. There we go. Apologies. Right, these areas in green show where Calvinism spread across Europe. In red, we have Luther or Martin Luther. His biggest thing was indulgences. He got a piece of paper, nailed it to the door. Just the problems with the church. One of these things was indulgences, with the fact that you can pay your way into heaven. Not the way it works. The church is upset. They excommunicate him. The Protestant Reformation, which is what Martin Luther starts, is this breakaway from the Roman Catholic Church. Martin Luther starts it in 1517. The Pope says you can no longer be part of the church. And then as we continue throughout history, Henry VIII will break away from the church. New religions are created, and we get this division of power. All right, so France. The French, above the other Roman Catholic nations, believed most firmly that religious toleration would eventually lead to chaos and disorder. Right. French rulers called themselves Le Roi Tres Chrétien, the most Christian king. The faith of the French was entirely Roman Catholic. It was for this reason John Calvin fled France. Calvin did not teach the state that the state should determine the teachings of the church. While religion defined the differences between warring French parties, it must be understood that the primary dispute was a political one. The French were known, apologies for not highlighting, as Huguenots, these French Protestants. Huguenots did not make up a large portion of the French population, but they were part of noble families, right? So when the wealthy get involved, it's not good. The Guys or Guise were by far the most powerful family in France. When the 10-year-old Charles IX exhumed the throne, the Guise took every opportunity to control him and his mother, Catherine de Medici. Medici controlled Italy, then moved up to France. They were big traders during their crusades. Perceiving the difficulties that lay ahead, the Huguenots pastor asked Bourbon noble Prince de Condé to act as protector as the Huguenot churches. Condé accepted the offer, becoming the leader of the political Huguenots. And then by 1572, 3 wars had failed to reveal a quick victor. So fighting each other over this, who's going to stay in control, religion-wise, of France. The St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre, as it was called, lasted several months, beginning in Coligny's murder of August 24, 1572. Over 20,000 Huguenots were slaughtered in and around Paris. 20,000. 4 zeros. Tens of thousands more were murdered throughout France. This is 20,000 in Paris, around Paris. The massacre caused thousands of Huguenots to flee France. Many of the nobles withdrew. The Huguenot political party was wounded beyond repair. So as we reach into British history and American history, you can't stay here. We don't like you. We're going to kill you. So let's flee to the Americas, essentially, is what happened, right? In 1576, Henry III assumed the throne. Let me change my highlighter color to green. Henry III assumed the throne of France. While Roman Catholic, Henry did not agree with the violent measures against the Huguenots. Above all, he wanted peace for France. In the same year, Henry was crowned King of France. The Guise controlled the Catholic League. Members include Philip II of Spain and Pope Pius V, biggest 5, with his militant band of priestess, the Jesuits. So militant priest, warrior priest, they fight. All right, that's what it is. 9 minutes. I gotta end this, guys. My bad. The 2 cousins marched on Paris, but Henry III was assassinated by a friar, becoming a battle ensued. The next man on the throne, we got Henry IV. Essentially, last part here so we can finish up. However, he lost none of his sympathy for the Huguenots. In 1598, he issued the Edict of Nantes. This proclamation provided Huguenots the freedom to establish their own churches and enjoy all civil rights of French citizenship. Wars. This was a war of religion within France. I hope this helps. You still do owe me this multiple choice activity at the end. If you do not do well, email me. I can reopen it for you. Best of luck. Get ready for lesson 2 coming up. Thank you all very much.